What if the computer was something you want to look at and have in your home? And what if it was in everyone's hands? Everyone in the world.
Steve Jobs lived at the intersection of art and technology.
He was a true genius, a true visionary.
What he was so passionate about from the beginning was this idea of computers being every man's tool and the most powerful tool.
That was the idea that everybody can have this, and everybody does have it now. We've all got instant access to information. So it's just the question of what are you going to do with it? And that's up to everyone, what we do with this power.
Point that arrow and click.
This movie is 3 scenes that all take place backstage before 3 product launches. In those scenes, all these conflicts that he has in his life get played out.
You can't write code. You're not a designer. What do you do?
The musicians play their instruments. I play the orchestra.
What you're after is the truth of a scene. There's ideas that come out of real life, but they're embellished as drama.
Your daughter and her mother are unwell.
She's not my daughter!
You must be able to see that she looks like you.
The board believes you're no longer necessary to this company.
I sat in a garage and invented the future. Because artists lead and hacks ask for a show of hands.
What you make isn't supposed to be the best part of you when you're a father. That's what's supposed to be the best part of you.
When you create art, we're trying to find a certain perfection that can't exist in life, and that's exactly what Steve was trying to do with his products.
What are people going to do with it?
They're gonna do that.
It's an abstract.
Steve Jobs and these people, they're pioneers. And the world is different because of them.
That was cool.
We've spoken to the fire marshal and the building manager. They're going to come in and tell everyone to leave.
If a fire causes a stampede to the unmarked exits, it'll have been well worth it for those who survive.
The difference between characters and people is the same as the difference between a photograph and a painting. This movie's a painting.
He's changed all of our lives. He's changed the way the world works. Somebody that has that sort of influence deserves to be reflected on.
The Mac team gave an award every year to the person who could stand up to you.
We will know soon enough if you were Leonardo da Vinci or just think you are.
2 most significant events of the 20th century. The Allies win the war, and this.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
Steve Jobs, now playing in theaters everywhere.
You can't write code. You're not an engineer. You're not a designer. You can't put a hammer to a nail. So how come 10 times in a day, I read Steve Jobs as a genius? What do you do?
Musicians play their instruments. I play the orchestra.
This movie's about the person and his personal dealings with people, what he kept inside of himself, where he might have been coming from.
What if, instead of it being in the right hands, it was in everyone's hands?
From when we started Apple, he was going to be the person in control, running things in the suits, representing the company, the face of the company.
The plan will reveal itself to you when you're ready to see it.
Steve was not a technical person. He was building a machine that he wanted for himself. One that was so easy and you could just look at it. You could actually do things without having to learn all the structured math and computer stuff.
Serious users want to customize. They want to modify. They want to jack it up.
They don't get a vote.
What every person is good at is what they value. And I value engineering. I was really good at it. But Steve, how could he contribute to a product? And it was the marketing, the explanation, and also wanting things to be simple. He was the master conductor, and that is good for the world today.
See how this reminds you of a friendly face? It's warm, and it's playful, and it needs to say hello.
More than anything else, Steve Jobs wanted to be the person known for it all.
We're not a pit crew at Daytona. This can't be fixed in seconds.
You had 3 weeks. The universe was created in a third of that time.
Well, someday you'll have to tell us how you did it.
Steve Jobs is known for having some negative personality characteristics. And do you balance the good with the bad, or did the bad lead to the good?
The new trash can is wrong. I want to tell you I appreciate all the hours you put into it, but I can't because of how terrible it is.
I think history's going to remember him as one of those great technical leaders of all time, just like Edison. He might also be remembered for his negative personality. I think that's going to go with his legacy forever. But he led the world in the future, and everybody else then would follow once they saw it.
Look at their faces when they see what it is. They won't know what they're looking at or why they like it, but they'll know they want it.
I think about a part of Steve Jobs that almost nobody knows, which is Steve Jobs Zero, I call it. It was Steve Jobs before we started Apple. And the fun times we had, the pranks we played, the laughter.
I'm the only one that knows that this guy here is someone you invented.
he really quite a bit manipulated his own legacy.
Any chance I can get you to go out there instead of me?
I love you, Steve.
I love you too, Oz.